Welcome everybody to the A Little Less Fear podcast. I'm your host for the show, Dr. Lino Martinez. Oh yeah. Welcome back everybody to the A Little Less Fear podcast and Happy New Year. I'm going to keep saying Happy New Year because it is the month of January, and January there's all kinds of new beginnings, right? With the new moon and everything, and the new moon's in Capricorn, of course. So yeah, Happy New Year everybody. The year 2022. What? We're in the 20s. It's like that's crazy to think that 100 years ago was like 1920. That's really amazing actually, because so much has happened in 100 years, and that's actually one of my favorite eras, the 1920s on to the 1940s. Yeah, those were the days, right? I don't know. I guess you can ask my past lives. But moving on from past lives, it's time to go to the future. And the future is now, and the future is today. How awesome that that I just reached 1 year on being here on this podcast platform. Thank you so much for all my listeners and all my supporters and people that keep encouraging me to continue to share my light with everybody. There are times where things feel a little dark, and when I get a booster, quite literally, right, which I'm due next week. But anyways, when I get this energetic spiritual booster that's given from the collective, and I'll call the collective all of you, all my supporters, it just basically gives me the encouragement to keep going and the motivation to spread the love that I keep spreading and that I'll keep spreading. And as much as it's very well received. Thank you very much. I want to thank all my listeners in the US, and I want to thank all my listeners in the UK and also in Israel. Why Israel? I don't know, but that's incredible. I know that there's like 3% of my ancestry is from Israel. So shout out to my ancestors and to my listeners in Israel. 10% listeners. I'm really fascinated to. I wish I could reach out to some of you individually and find out what about this podcast gets you motivated, what keeps you listening. I'm really interested in it. It'd be great to visit Israel one of these days. It'd be really awesome. Could be maybe because Muckle-Wells syndrome. I've mentioned to these people who are listening, whoever's listening for the first time, I have Muckle-Wells syndrome. That's statistically 1 in 1,000,000, and it's more common in Europe, in the European descent. And actually, Israelis have a higher chance of getting it too. So I thought that it was quite not just a coincidence. I guess we could say that some of my listeners are in Israel. So thank you so much. I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And yeah, so I wanted to start out by some what I'm calling the top 5 questions from the collective. I'm not going to name people or put anybody in the spotlight. So I'm going to call whoever asks me questions and wants questions answered either through my email or through my website or through the podcast, whatever, however you decide you want to ask me questions, go ahead and I'm more than happy to answer them. These questions are, I'm going to pick the top 5 questions from what I'm calling the collective, which is all of you. And I just answer these questions according to time frame and whatever fits me at the moment. So we'll start with the first question. How are you? That's a great question. I love that question. And I wish I could ask all of you individually, how are you? And I hope you're doing better and I hope you're doing well. It's been a roller coaster, let me tell you. The last 2 weeks and just getting the buckling down on getting the final edits for my book to be published. Thank you so much to all the buyers and supporters and people that are reading my book, and hopefully they will see that it's a transformational journey along with motivational metamorphosis, I don't know however you want to say it, metamorphosis. And it's a book of pushing your life to find out your true essence, to find out what keeps you motivated. Basically, these were questions that I asked myself through my life. What kept me motivated? What kept me going? Aside from, I mean, because I was going through so many different things, from surgeries through my parents' divorce and my mother's battling cancer, and just it goes on and on and on and on, and having a genetic disease and being a trans man. There's just so many things that are answered in my book. It's don't be intimidated. It is 394 pages. 50 of those are poems that I've written throughout maybe the last 15, 20 years or so. But I decided out of the thousands and thousands of pages that I've written with poetry that I wanted to choose these. Not that I wanted to, I actually randomly chose those, whichever ones were in a stack or whichever ones were saved onto my computer or thumb drive or whatever, and just randomly chose which ones to put in my book because there's just so many that have come from my soul, that have come from deep within, and I will talk about that as the title of this podcast is called Abundance. I'll let you know why in a moment after I answer the first question still with how are you? I'm doing better. Thank you so much for asking. Um, yeah, so I think I had COVID. I was tested 2 weeks ago. My symptoms started after Christmas, about 2 days after Christmas, and I had a rapid test, which was negative. A rapid test was a swab nose test, and it was negative. However, research shows that it's only 73% accurate, so I'm not really sure what happened there. But something didn't show up because it could have been the flu or it could have been the cold. But I've had the flu, I've had pneumonia, I've had a lot of different types of illnesses that have brought my immune system down for me to suspect that it was COVID. And one of the major symptoms was that I lost my sense of taste. And as you know, if you've been sick, if your nasals or your sinuses are plugged, you can also lose your sense of smell or taste. But this lingered on for quite a while, about 7 days, even when my nasals were clear. And I was starting to have a lot of irregular heartbeats. I was doing some research on COVID-19 and how it basically goes to the path of least resistance, something that I like to talk about. But if the path of least resistance in your body, meaning the weakest parts of your body, so if the virus will recognize these weak parts and kind of attack that area. And yeah, it kind of attacked my heart a little bit for the last week and a half or two. I've been having some arrhythmias, which just a lot of irregular heartbeats, heartbeats that are not with my rhythmic pattern that I'm usually used to. So it's been a little alarming there, but I've still continued to exercise. I'm still continuing to eat healthy, organic greens. Make sure that you're pushing, and this goes out to everybody. Make sure you're pushing a lot of good probiotic food, not in a capsule form. If you have to go down to a capsule form, that's better than not doing it at all. But you lose a lot of your gut microbe, your gut flora with not eating healthy and not having a balanced meal. So make sure you updose on your greens, things that are really dark green, such as arugula or spinach. And some people are actually allergic to these things. So find out if you have any allergies first before changing your diet, or talk to your doctor before you do anything like that. But these are the things that I feel that have been helping me push through this. Garlic, turmeric, onions. Let's see here. What else have I been doing? Oh, red beets, pickled red beets as well with sauerkraut and eggs for protein. So just trying to keep myself as optimal as possible, especially when my body's battling a virus like this. What else can I say? Other than that, I'm feeling a lot better. Met with a neurologist today at UCLA, which I'm really happy I finally got to meet her. And going on, this is all moving the subject to my genetic disease, Muckle-Wells syndrome. It's affected by a mutation in the gene NLRP3, N as in Nancy, LR, P as in Patrick, and the number 3. And basically it gets activated whenever it wants, whether it's environmental, let's say it's too cold or it's too hot, it can get activated. Whether I have an allergy, it can get activated. If I'm depressed, it can get activated. If I'm too excited, it can get activated. So it's an overinflammation. It's a drama queen in my body. So it's like trying to get the drama down, and trying to get the drama down helps with a lot of the medications I'm using. I'm taking every day, along with exercising, meditating, and learning the true word of abundance, meaning an abundant health and abundance of wealth, which is coming to me every day. And I'm very thankful for it. Thank you. So the next question, as a trans man, are you losing hair? That's a good question. So when I first started my transition, I have to say that I always had a higher hairline, even when I was female identified. Even as a baby, I had like this gigantic forehead, and you can see my big birthmark. I've also been, some of my cousins used to call me Gorby, like Gorbachev, because I've got this red birthmark on the right side of my head, kind of like how Gorbachev had in the middle of his forehead, Yeah, just like that. You can call me Gorby. I have no problem with it. But anyways, Gorby here has a red birthmark. Why did I even go off into that tangent because I'm letting you know that my forehead has always been big and I've always had a receding hairline. However, when I started testosterone, I did start losing hair, and I started losing hair mostly on the sides right here, not where the hair had always been receding, but mostly on the sides. So after, let's see here, I've been on testosterone for this May will be 8 years. So I think after the fourth year is when I started losing a lot of hair, and I had to come to the reality. I can either let my hair start falling out and I'll start losing my hair and being bald and accept it, or don't accept it right away and see if there's a treatment or a plan for it. And I chose the latter, of course, always looking for ways to optimize myself and be the best version of myself for everybody, to set a good example for the world. And I decided to start on finasteride. Finasteride, a very low dose, 1 milligram a day. And I also do minoxidil. Minoxidil, I do about 3 times a week. And I've been doing both of those, that combination, for 5 years now. Actually, no, about 4 years. And it brought my hair back on the sides where it was getting thin. And I'm happy. I'm glad that I didn't give in to, oh, this is just gonna happen because I'm a guy and that's it. It's not just specifically because of that, but I feel like I making good effort just to keep the upkeep of being a man and keeping my hair. It feels good. So thank you so much. For as much as people don't believe in pharmaceuticals, I gotta tell you, finasteride has helped me. Although there are a lot of side effects for just regular cis men, I guess. There's been some cis men that have reported a lot of depression with finasteride. And so once again, before starting a medication like that, I would advise you to talk to your doctor before you start anything like that. Yeah, any one of your doctors, see if it's a good idea. So what product do you use? That is a funny question. Haha. And I say it's funny because I'm always using all kinds of products in my hair. Sometimes I just use a coconut spray. It's coconut salt spray. And I'll put it in my hair when it's damp, and then I'll blow dry it. And then sometimes I try other products. Right now, this product is recommended by my brother. And I'm thankful to my brother. Everybody, my brother's name is Ezekiel Martinez. Thanks to my brother. He says that Suavecito. Yeah, that's Felix the cat. Everybody knows I have Felix the cat because Felix is going to be the next president. But anyways, Felix the cat for president, everybody. So this is just happens to be a coincidence, believe it or not. I'm in line with the universe. Align me a little more. So with that alignment comes Felix Suavecito. This, I'm not being paid to promote this. This is because people are asking me what I put in my hair. I think it's interesting, but this is what I've been using lately. Suavecito, Suavecito. Yeah. So yeah, that goes with the next question, which was who does your hair? It's so interesting, these questions, because sometimes I really don't care about my hair. You know, sometimes I just don't even want to comb it. But today I made an effort to comb it for people because all of you are asking me questions and you love these things. And if it's inspiring you, then so be it. I cut my hair recently, and my roommate, who's a hairdresser, Alfonso Fanador at Salon de la Cruz. Now I am promoting him because he's badass and he's been doing hair for over 30 years. But when I mess up my hair, he fixes my hair for me. So I'm lucky to have a hairdresser as a roommate. Next question. Do you always wear jewelry? You know what? I love jewelry. There was a time where I stopped wearing earrings because I was having a lot of gender dysphoria and I didn't want to look female, but I put my earrings back in this little tragus area, and I have these cool little sapphires with gold on the outside that I got on Etsy. Yeah, promote Etsy. I love Etsy. I go into an Etsy wormhole very often. And then this clear crystal here. I love crystals as well. Crystal energy. I'm feeling it. I feel them. I've got bracelets that my brother's got me, my cousin, my roommate, rings, this string ring that I have here. I tied a knot there. It's a secret. If you want to know, ask me. And yeah, this was also given by one of my friends, lovely friends that I used to work with. Thank you so much. So yeah, what do I have to say about that? You know what? Just be yourself. If you want to wear jewelry. If you're not a jewelry guy, don't be a jewelry guy. If you're a jewelry girl, guy, whatever, in between, outside of the box, just do whatever feels good. That's all I got to say. If one day you feel like wearing it, wear it. The next day you don't, just don't. It's that simple. Make your life simple. You can do this. We can all do this together. So, yeah, those were the top 5 questions. Thanks so much for asking. And wow, so 2022, a little less fear podcast. I came to a point where I was actually thinking about changing the title of this podcast. Why? Well, I was letting other people brew their thoughts brew into my thoughts, and I was getting some comments here and there. Why a little less fear? You're saying that you're coming into things with fear already. You're putting fear out there. What about adding courage to that, or have a little more courage? And yes, these were all really great topics, and it was a great advice that I got from a lot of people. But in return, I have to weigh my options. I have to look at things and see what, if I'm doing this show for other people, what feedback am I getting from the other people? And the feedback that I'm getting from the other people is how much they love the title, A Little Less Fear. And this even goes to the people that I interview. Before I even interview and start hitting record, they start telling me how much they love the title and why they love the title. So I want to thank the people that have given me their 2 cents and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cents about why I should change the title. However, right now I'm going to keep it. And whenever I feel that I'm ready for a change or a different navigation system, I will think about changing it. But for now, A Little Less Fear will remain. Thank you so much. And let's see here. What else do I have brewing, huh? Yeah, Facebook, huh? Hmm. So, yeah, Facebook. I don't have Facebook game, but I'll tell you why. I've never had a Facebook until recently. I have a Facebook now, and I just started a Facebook. It's not mine specifically. For me specifically, my personal life. If you want to know about personal life, I included on TikTok, and I also, you can follow me at Dr. Lino Martinez on TikTok and at Dr. Lino Martinez on Instagram. Very open both publicly about my personal life and my public life, and I don't have much to hide because I'm here to share my life with everybody. Of course, there's room for some secrets, but I can't tell you because then they won't be a secret. But I've got my own life, obviously, and things brewing in the background. But one thing I wanted to share with you that I'm very, very excited about is another podcast coming up. Yep, you heard that. Another podcast. And this other podcast is by popular demand. And this demand happened recently within the last actually 6 months or so, where I interviewed, if any of you have been following me here, you will remember an author who wrote the book Dating What the Fuck. Her name is Lori Hardiker. And we stayed in touch and basically just talking about the agony and the pain of so many people that are single and dating. What about single and dating, and why are so many people unhappy with the dating apps, and why are people being fake and people being ghosted, and ghosts is happening left and right, and it's even easier if you're dating people online. So she built a a Facebook community. You can find us at Lori Hardiker. Lori, last name Hardiker, Hardacker, and the Facebook page is called Dating What the F. And our show, which will be hopefully, I'm hopefully targeting that at the end of this month, we will have our very first episode, and it's going to be called Lori and Lino Show, the Lori and Lino Show. And yeah, dating, love, and all of the above. That's the title. And what we mean by all of the above is that we're going to basically discuss all of these topics that are going on right now. And Facebook right now has over 900 followers in, geez, less than a month. So that's how we know what you want, and we hear you. And we're here to talk about any topic that has to do with relationships and love and sex and being single and even building yourself and having a foundation, grounding yourself. We're going to have all kinds of speakers as well in the topic, and I'm very excited to launch this second podcast. This podcast will remain for all of you that want to be motivated and encouraged to share your stories. And let's continue on. Let's continue with the word abundance. And abundance, I ask all of you to just keep being you, because with your energy, I get energized. It just happens naturally. That's how we're magneting to each other, to one another. We're optimizing here by creating clarity and by thriving. How are we thriving? Just teaching and showing our clarity is the best example, by teaching and to show your clarity, and aligning your body, speech, and mind. That's the best that I can do for all of you, to show as an example that you can manifest anything that you want, and well, and all in life, that is. And also make it an effort to manifest things and bring things into fruition when you're feeling good. There are a lot of people that wait till they're feeling bad to write in a journal, or they wait till they're feeling bad to make a change. You can make a change and then some when you're feeling good. If you're doing that when you're feeling bad and it makes you feel good, imagine when you do something that you're feeling good, to manifest more, to have more clarity. It's going to come more natural, and you're going to you're going to keep building on that foundation. What a way to keep going. What a way to keep growing, and what a way to keep thriving. Thanks so much, everybody. Keep up the great work. Everybody all around me, I hear news from people on how well they're doing. People I've interviewed, people on their weight loss journeys. Keep up going. Keep up the good work. Authors, writers, people who are battling depression. Just keep your motivation on whatever makes you feel good and whatever makes you feel strong. That's going to be your path. Don't be afraid to talk to people and open up to people. Tell them how you're feeling. It could be a snowball of effect if you don't do anything about yourself. And it all starts by self-love. So I love you all so much. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll keep in touch, as I have been, letting you know how it all pans out. Thank you to my listeners. Love you all very much.